Virtue and vices. Virtue, to the traditional Chinese, is the most important set of moral rules to follow. This is strictly upheld and usually related to religious and moral teachings, such as Confucianism. One example of famous Confucian saying is, "The act of giving is the reward itself." The stories and series provide practical lessons for all ages on how to behave. The virtues illustrated here are the importance of hard work, thrift not theft, generosity, knowing right and wrong, filial obedience, religious piety, loyalty, humility, and the value of friendship. Vices such as laziness, gambling, and drugs should be avoided, and the Chinese belief in retribution should vices be adopted. These lessons are always relevant and useful in all societies and walks of life. Thriftiness and wealth. Being thrifty and saving up for a rainy day are important steps of virtue. This is especially true if one is poor, and be sure to stay away from stealing. The cabin below shows the sad lives of beggars who are forced to survive on charity of others. This also teaches us to share our wealth and do good deeds, as we will be rewarded. The Chinese belief in retribution is depicted in this case of the police catching thieves trying to run off with a stolen chicken and some clothes. In the top cabin, it shows the vices of a Shanghai night scene and a Hong Kong cabaret show in the 1950s. Wealth is much desired, but it can become harmful if not spent properly. Time and money is seen here to be wasted on wine and women. This usually spoils one's health and creates distraction from work and family life, which are far more meaningful. Helping future generations. The road to wealth is often tough, and thus the virtue here is that hard-earned money should be put to good use. One way is to invest in the community and improve it and benefit everyone. This way, one can be selfless and pave the way for future generations. The top left scene shows both young and old folks displaying teamwork in catching fish and building a bridge. The power of cooperation makes hard tasks easier, and the smiles reflect enjoyment. In contrast, the scene below shows either young ones gambling and smuggling opium. The gateway with the tear emblem acts as a barrier to protect them from the vices. While being generous like the old man at the top right who gives rice to the needy, one has to be careful not to fall into debt like the man below who first loses his pig and then his wife to the debtors when he is unable to pay up. Tang Dynasty Buddha. This virtues and vices tableau is dedicated to the Buddha Da Dian Fo, who is better known as Ji Gong from the Tang Dynasty. He traveled around the country dressed as a dirty-looking man in torn and tattered robes to observe people around him. Famous for working miracles, saving lives, and helping the poor and weak through his magic, he sits at the center with two monks flanking him. On the top of the left of the frog platform are the Diamond King of the East with a colorful face and the Diamond King of the West with a sword. Behind them is a Sakyamuni Buddha, joined by Wen Shu and Jin Xian. The latter is said to guide Buddhism teachings. On the right are the Laughing Buddha and the Goddess of Mercy, with Heavenly Nerja with a spear and Mucha with a magic whisk. Religious piety. The ruler of China, Liang Wuti, is seen there with his minister and advisor in the 6th century AD. He's a good example of the close link between religious piety and virtue. Liang Wuti is thought to have brought Buddhism to the country. He built many temples, behaved religiously, and practiced meditation. He extolled the virtues of hard work and influenced his court officials and people by example. In this display, you can see farmers and women hard at work, while 3 craftsmen are busy repairing the altar of the 3 Buddhas. Nearby, a soldier crossing a bridge on horseback is warning a young couple of the hardships and dangers in life, and not to be complacent. The grateful tortoise, the well-loved tail, speaks of being rewarded for one's good deeds. Wan Qing was a kind man who loved animals. One day, he felt sorry for a tortoise which was being carried to the market, so he bought it and set it free in the sea. Years later, the ship he was in sank and most of the passengers drowned, while Wang Qing was rescued by this grateful tortoise. He then married the heiress and lived happily forever after. The bottom left display shows Empress Dowager Li was the most virtuous wife, and she tolerated all kinds of injustice. She was thrown into dungeons and nearly died. Luckily, she escaped to a humble hut with the help of her loyal officials, but she became blind from crying. The top right display shows the 18 Lohan who are famous for their supernatural powers. One of the Lohan, called the Pindula, could ride a dragon and control wild animals. They are considered guardians of Buddhism and had at least 500 subordinates each. Determination, loyalty, and hard work This series tells the importance of determination, loyalty, and hard work. The first tale of Hong Fu Nu, who visited the Tang Dynasty military strategist Li Jing on a bitterly cold night and gave him a winter coat as a love token. Then they ran away to China's southern border to serve the emperor. The second tale is of Han Yu, a Tang Dynasty scholar, and his nephew Han Xiangzi, who tried to impart religious teachings to him. Han Xiangzi became the patron saint of musicians and one of the 8 immortals. Qing Cheng was the owner of the Parisian shop who spent his time gambling. Once, his wife could not cope and asked his son to look for him. The son was hit by a car and killed on the way. Last but not least, we see 2 students, Jia, who was hardworking, and Yi, who was lazy. After graduation, Jia became a bank clerk, while Yi managed his father's store, but he could not understand the accounts and had to seek Jia's help. The man at the front to the right is Yi, who is seen holding a book upside down. Friendship and loyalty. Another popular tale used to explain the importance of being loyal to friends, warns of the consequences that betrayal can bring. This story tells of 2 boys in the woods for a picnic. One of them spotted a bear and ran away without his friend. The bear was fooled by the boy who was left behind as he played dead and thus gave chase to the other friend and killed him. In another version, the first boy who climbed up the tree saw the bear sniff at his friend who played dead. When it was safe, the boy asked what the bear said. The friend then replied sadly, "It said, never to trust a friend who betrays you in a time of trouble."